Hi and welcome to Sounds Heavenly. My name's Steve and I make the cables that connect Bang and Olufsen. So today we're going to be looking at Bang & Olufsen's new speaker Beosound Balance and why this is just so special if you have a classic or vintage B&O collection. Come and join me to find out. So today we've wrapped up warm because we've got a bit of travelling to do. We're going to go over and have a look at the Balance, and I'm going to explain to you why I think this is actually one of the most exciting products B&O have produced in recent years. The thing we've got to actually have the Balance here for to show you is that if you've got a classic B&O system, whether that's 1970s Jakob Jensen Beomaster 8000 or a 2000s era Beosound 9000 David Lewis design, you can now upgrade the sound of that and bring it up to date in terms of streaming music and connectivity by adding Beosound Balance. Now the secret to this, as always, is a simple cable. There's a line input on this speaker that lets you go to either the PowerLink output of, for example, a Beosound 9000 or 3200, or to the tape out socket with a different cable on classic 1970s and 1980s systems, even going back to mid-60s, things like the Beomaster 900 and the 900 RG radiogram, and now it can be a plug and play upgrade for your existing B&O system. So apologies if I look a bit excited on this. For me, this is what makes the Balance so special. So nice and easy, plugs in underneath into the 3.5mm line socket, and you can choose, if your system has PowerLink connections, you can choose whether to use the app for volume control, the touch wheel on the top of the Balance, or your existing BO4 remote. And if you've got a classic 1970s or 60s system, you'd have the choice of using the app on your phone and the touch wheel on the top of the Balance. So I hope that's given you an indication of just what's possible. Let's go back to the workshop and show you some examples. So hopefully that's given you an idea of some of the things that are possible with this speaker. As a B&O collector myself, many times I've gone out, bought quite a large pair of B&O speakers, brought them home. My friends come round, have a look, and the first thing they'll say is, "Ooh, what did they cost?" So I tell them the price, and they always do the same thing. They look the speakers up and down. They're normally very big speakers. And they think, and then you get that sort of nod of approval where they look at the speakers, make a mental comparison for the cost and how much real estate they take up in the room, and make their value judgment, and then they'll say, "Can I have a listen?" And that's the thing that we've got to quash to really get where Beosound Balance fits in. Now I've, as I say, come from a background where most of the speakers I've bought over the years are taller than my good lady wife. Pentas that I'm looking at the moment in the workshop are a case in point 5 feet 6 inches or about 1.70 m tall, really nice big speakers with a big room filling sound. However, Beosound Balance, that compact little table standing speaker, isn't actually far off in terms of sound production. It has about the same bass depth, round about 30-35 hertz extension, and with I think about 114 decibels maximum output. It's actually louder than a pair of Pentas in a normal room, yet it's a tiny, tiny little speaker. So how can this be? Well, this is where this value judgment has to, size against price, has to go out of the window. And I think, to be honest, the best case in point here is one of Bang and Olufsen's main competitors now in speakers, a firm from France called Devialet. They blew apart the hi-fi world a few years ago with what appears to all intents and purposes to be a robotic football, a little white high-tech speaker that is, well, it would fit in well on a Star Wars movie as a new intelligent droid. It's a fantastic looking little thing, and it produces a sound that until now would have needed massive speakers that would dominate a room, and yet it does it from a package about the size of a size 5 match football. And Beosound Balance breaks away from all the tradition of monolithic B&O speakers and comes in as the yang to the Phantom's yin. I think they're pretty much two sides of the same coin. Now, in my personal view, the Phantom, for all its technological brilliance, has the stylistic approach of a broken window or paint on a sofa. It's not something that appeals to me. Please forgive me if you disagree there, but for me, in terms of design, it just doesn't work. However, when you compare the Balance to this, you suddenly have something which is subtle and demure and blends into quite a wide range of interior designs, styles, fabrics and materials. And now, when you listen to the Balance, all of a sudden, its revolutionary tech starts to pay its way. So, if you have a classic B&O system, as I've mentioned in the store, maybe a Beomaster 8000, you've probably got some quite big speakers with it. So probably a 70s system would have something like Beovox MS150 speakers, often jokingly known in the hi-fi trade as monkey coffins. Great speakers for the time, but really quite large and bulky. Roll on a few years to the 1980s, you may well have Beolab Pentas, again, very tall column speakers, very big, needing a lot of real estate within the house. Or scroll on a bit further and you could have a 2000 system. If you've got a Beosound 9000, chances are it could well be partnered with Beolab 5s. Wonderful speakers, but again, starting to show their age in terms of their physical bulk for the sound they can produce. Now, it is as simple as I mentioned before, that it is purely a cable connection that unlocks the potential of your classic or vintage system and lets you use Beosound Balance, and in one immediate swoop you upgrade the sound and the capabilities of your system. Well, I've got a couple of examples here. Let's just move the elephant. Going back to the late 1970s, we've got a Beocenter 3300, which is actually a very special unit for me. I'll talk about that more on my channel in a future video. This has the tape out connection that we spoke about, so we'll give a fixed volume output. So this will plug into Beosound Balance, and instead of using the volume dial on the unit, the Balance, either via the app or the touch panel on the top, will control the volume. Next to it, hidden away behind me, we've got a late 1980s Beomaster 3500. Now this weighs less than a small elephant, so I'll bring this over, unlike the older unit, which I will not try and lift. So this on the rear socket panel has quite a wonderful range of connections, but we have PowerLink outputs. So this is the best option of all. In this case, by using the PowerLink connection, you can choose to either use your B&O remote for volume control, or you can use the Balance via its app or its touch panel. And immediately you've upgraded the system. If you go for the speaker with Google Voice Assist, you've got an intelligent room and immediate control via voice. If you prefer not to have a smart speaker in that respect, then you can still use your app on your mobile device, and you can use Bluetooth, AirPlay 2 and Chromecast for streaming, plus you've got the option of that direct wired connection. Something I didn't mention before as well is that if you've got a non-Bang & Olufsen television with an optical output, that can connect into the Balance as well. The 3.5mm input jack is a combined analog stereo audio and optical via mini Toslink, so I can provide optical cables with an adapter on request to let you use the Balance as your TV speaker as well as for music streaming. So I hope that's given you some ideas of just what the potential is here. This is not just a standalone speaker. This is something that fills an average to large room with sound. It can produce crystal clear music at a louder volume in most rooms than you can actually comfortably hear. It gives a bass depth that matches or exceeds that of giant classic loudspeakers, and it's a nice easy plug and play addition to your B&O collection. Now at the launch date there are two colours for the Balance. There is the black and there's the oak. What I'm going to suggest to Bang & Olufsen, if you are listening, may I respectfully ask that we have rosewood please for the 1970s Jakob Jensen era products, and also that we have a smoked grey or brushed aluminium finish please for those of us who like the retro 1980s, 1990s David Lewis era products. In that way, the sustainability and future-proofing of Beosound Balance will be assured because they will remain long-term in pride of place for B&O collectors. Now if you've got any questions about how to integrate Beosound Balance into your B&O system, please get in touch. You can reach me at any time via my website at soundsheavenly.com, where you'll find all the cables, advice and good ideas you could ever need to make the best use of your B&O products. Please also, if you've not yet seen my recent video where I interviewed the design team responsible for the Balance, then please take a look at that. I'll link that at the end of the video and also put a link in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon.